It was supposed to be a special day, my birthday, a time I'd always associate with celebration and joy. I woke up that morning with a flicker of excitement, wondering what Tessa, my wife of 7 years, had planned. She'd been dropping hints about a surprise for weeks, her sly smiles and whispered phone calls with friends making me think she was orchestrating something big. I didn't mind. I loved seeing her happy, and I'd always been the kind of guy who went along with things, content to let her take the lead. So when she told me to come home early from work, I didn't hesitate. I even stopped by the barber on the way, wanted to look my best for whatever she had in store. As I pulled into our driveway, I noticed the extra cars parked along the street. Familiar ones belonging to her friends, a few from my office, even my cousin's beat-up sedan. My heart lifted. A party. She'd throw me a party. I stepped out of the car, smoothing my shirt, and walked up to the house, the phantom of chatter and music spilling through the cracked front door. I pushed it open, and a chorus of "surprise" greeted me. The living room was packed. Streamers hung from the ceiling, balloons bobbed in the corners, and faces I knew well grinned at me. Tessa stood in the center, her dark hair swept up in a messy bun, her eyes sparkling with mischief. I felt a wave of warmth wash over me, a rush of gratitude for her, for this moment. "Happy birthday, babe," she said, throwing her arms around me. I hugged her back, breathing in the familiar scent of her lavender perfume, and the room erupted in applause. People clapped me on the shoulder, handed me a beer, and I started to relax, letting the buzz of the party carry me along. It felt good, better than good. For once, I wasn't just Tessa's quiet husband, the guy who fixed the printer at work or mowed the lawn on Sundays. I was the center of attention, and I liked it. Then came the cake. Tessa dimmed the lights, and her best friend Marissa carried it out from the kitchen, candles flickering atop a massive chocolate monstrosity. Everyone started singing Happy Birthday, their voices loud and off-key, and I couldn't stop smiling. I leaned forward to blow out the candles, but as the flames died down, I saw the words written in bright red frosting. "Congratulations, loser." The room went quiet for a split second, and then the laughter started. It wasn't the warm, shared laughter of a good joke. It was sharp, cutting like shard of glass. I froze, staring at the cake, the words searing into my brain. My stomach twisted into a sickening knot. I looked up at Tessa, expecting her to laugh it off, to say it was a mix-up, but she was doubled over, clutching her sides, tears streaming down her face from how hard she was laughing. Marissa smirked beside her, and I saw others, her friends mostly, snickering into their drinks. My co-workers shifted uncomfortably, and my cousin just stared at the floor. "Lighten up, it's just a joke," Tessa said, wiping her eyes as she caught her breath. "You should see your face." But it wasn't just a joke. In that moment, something clicked, something I'd been ignoring for years. I stood there. The birthday boy turned punchline, and the warmth I'd felt earlier turned to ice in my veins. This wasn't new. Tessa had always done this. Little jabs, sarcastic comments, playful insults that I'd laughed off because I loved her. I'd told myself it was her sense of humor, that she didn't mean it, that I was being too sensitive. But standing there, with "loser" spelled out in frosting in the room echoing with mockery, I saw it for what it was. She didn't respect me. She never had. The party stumbled on awkwardly after that. I forced a smile, cut the cake, and let people slap me on the back, but inside, I was reeling. I kept replaying the years we'd spent together. Me working overtime to fund her failing boutique, me skipping my own hobbies to help her chase her dreams, me biting my tongue when she flirted with other guys at bars, say it was just her personality. I'd been her doormat, her safety net, her fool. And the worst part, I'd let it happen. When the last guest left, I sat on the couch, staring at the mess of empty cups and crumpled napkins. Tessa was in the kitchen, humming as she tossed plates in the sink. She acted like nothing was wrong, like the night had been a roaring success. I couldn't take it anymore. The humiliation burned too deep. I got up, walked to our bedroom, and started packing a bag, clothes, toothbrush, a few books. Tessa came in as I zipped it shut. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice sharp. "I'm leaving," I said, not looking at her. My hands shook, but my resolve didn't. She laughed, a short, incredulous sound. Over cake? Are you serious? It's not about the cake, I said, finally meeting her eyes. It's about everything. I'm done being your punching bag. Her face changed, then shock, then anger, then something like fear. She tried to argue, to guilt me into staying, but I didn't listen. I grabbed my bag, walked out, and drove to a cheap motel across town. That night, alone in a lumpy bed with the hum of the highway outside, I cut her off completely. I blocked her number, closed our joint account, and emailed my lawyer about a separation. It wasn't impulsive. It was survival. Tessa didn't see it coming. For years, I'd been her rock, propping up her life while mine crumbled. Her boutique was bleeding money, and I'd been the one keeping afloat, dipping into my savings, working extra hours, even taking out a loan she didn't know about. Without me, the cracks showed fast. She started calling from different numbers, leaving voicemails that went from angry to desperate. I need you, she said in one, her voice breaking. The shop's falling apart. Please, just come back and help me fix this. I deleted it without replying. She'd made her bed, let her lie in it. The first weeks were hard. I crashed on my cousin's couch, then found a small apartment. I felt unmoored, like I'd lost a limb, but I kept going. I took a promotion at work I'd turned down before because Tessa said it'd take too much time away from her. It came with a raise and a corner office, and for the first time in years, I felt proud of myself. I started running again, something I'd loved in college, but dropped because Tessa thought it was boring. I made new friends, guys from work, a neighbor who invited me to poker nights. They didn't see me as a loser. They saw me. One night, months later, I ran into Marissa at a bar. She looked surprised to see me, even more surprised when I didn't shrink away. Tessa's a mess, she said, almost accusingly. She misses you. I shrugged, sipping my beer. That's not my problem anymore. And it wasn't. I'd heard through the grapevine that her boutique had shuttered, that she'd moved back in with her parents. Part of me felt a pang of guilt, but it faded fast. She'd built her life on tearing me down. I wasn't obligated to save her. I started dating again, tentatively at first. There was a woman from work, Sarah, with a warm smile and a sharp wit. She didn't flirt with other guys or cut me down to feel big. On our third date, she told me she admired how I'd turned my life around. I almost didn't believe her, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized she was right. I had turned it around. I wasn't the guy from the party anymore, the one who'd stood there while everyone laughed. I'd shed that skin, that identity Tessa had pinned on me like a name tag. Looking back, I see how far I've come. I'm not just Tessa's ex-husband, not just a loser she made me out to be. I'm me, someone with goals, with a future, with worth. I've got a new apartment with a view of the city, a job I'm good at, friends who lift me up. I'm even planning a solo trip next month, something I'd never have dared before. Every day, I feel more like myself, the self I'd buried under years of her mockery. I'm free, not just from her, but from the version of me I'd let her create. And damn, it feels good.